Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. A lot of people don't quite connect the dots on why there's successes and why there's failures sometimes in law of attraction. And what's really funny, and there's a great quote that Dr. Joseph Murphy shares with us. Think good and good follows. Think evil and evil follows. You are what you think all day long. And it's so simple in its delivery. It's so simple in what it's saying, but it's actually much larger than that. Many of us worry about, oh no, I had a negative thought about something. Oh no, I thought this margarine tasted better than butter. Oh, it's going to ruin everything. It's not the thoughts. It's not the little things that pop into our head. And it's not the techniques. I guarantee you, you're doing your techniques properly. You're putting your mind where it needs to be. You're focusing your energy. You're living from the end. You're feeling as though the wish is fulfilled. You're doing everything perfectly. So why do we sometimes fail? And it's not the things that we intentionally do, I find. I find it's actually all the places that we accidentally focus on stuff. One thing I've noticed with myself, and I know a lot of people are similar to this, is I'll have conversations in my head about either A, certain topics with certain people, B, maybe I'll have a conversation with someone that I'm trying to work through, maybe a seeing eye to eye on something, or maybe it's a work problem I'm having. Maybe there's someone I had an experience with recently and it frustrated me, so I keep playing it back in my mind. Now, Goddard talks about revisions, right? The pruning shears of revisions. All of these are excellent places to be revised for sure. But in order to revise something, you have to notice it. Now, you don't have to necessarily notice at the time. If you're doing revisions like Goddard suggests at the end of the day and you're playing back through your day, hopefully these things pop to the surface. But if they don't, well, then you're not necessarily revising them. What I want people to do is spend more time noticing the thoughts we have, noticing the conversations we have, noticing when we're thinking about going to the grocery store, oh, it's probably going to be a madhouse. It's going to be so busy down there. I probably won't be able to find a parking place, right? We tell all this stuff, but it's that part. It's that negative thinking that causes ripples, bumps, and problems in our life. And we don't realize how often we do it. We don't see it because we just do it so naturally. We do it so often. And though we do all these conscious, intentional manifestation techniques 10% of the time, 90% of the time, we're having other conversations in our mind. We're having these negative thoughts. We're essentially telling our crew, the crew of our ship, we're the captain and our crew, and we're constantly telling them, hey, look, no, 90% of the time I want you to sabotage me every which way you can. We need to listen to the thoughts we have. You're trying to manifest a specific person in your life. How many times do you start thinking about them and start assuming negative things are going on, or start to say things like, well, they probably won't like that, or I don't know, I want to text them, but they probably don't want to hear from me, or I don't know, I want to text them, but they always get mad at me. When we have these expectations that are outside of the alignment of our desires, we'll find, one, they feel frustrating. Two, when we're not aware of us doing it, it's one of those more of that subconscious level. When it trickles to the surface, these little accidental bubble ups, when we can finally see ourselves saying, yeah, he probably wouldn't want me to text anyway. Stop yourself. Stop yourself right there and go, whoa, there you are. There you are. And again, it's okay to have these moments. It is okay to have this happen. It happens to everybody. It happens to me on a regular basis. This has really been a huge focus for me lately in just turning this around. What do I do every time I catch myself having a conversation? I revise it instantly. I instantly start to say it differently. Whatever I was just saying a second ago that was negative, it's going to be a madhouse down there, it's going to be crazy, I instead say, it's going to be fine. I'm going to find a parking place where I always do. I'm going to get in and out. Self-checkout will probably be nothing. I don't need anything that's going to require me to go through the regular line. I'll be in and out. It's cool. It's no big deal. I know it's a busy time of day, but it's not a big deal. I'll get in and out. And I do. It's when we catch ourselves saying these things. Trying to get a job. Are you someone that's maybe in your 40s? Maybe you're in your 50s? And You keep saying no one's hiring anyone my age, nobody wants anyone my age. I'll tell you what, I talk to a lot of people. I have one guy, he's a CPA, owns his own business, CPA. He literally, that's all he's looking for is people that are older because he considers them more responsible. Now, he is at a crossroads where he's like, maybe I should do that differently. But still, that's typically what he's been doing. So believe it or not, there are people out there that will meet whatever requirement you are presenting. And what I mean by that is, if you're requiring the universe to treat you like you're too old, there's a lot of employers that you're going to apply for that are going to look at you as too old. And conversely, if you look at yourself as someone that's seasoned, you've got experience, you're able to help out in a lot of situations, you're calm under pressure because you've done this before. You don't have expectations that are maybe out of alignment. When you realize that you can tell yourself these things, guess what? You attract the employers that like you or like that older type of person. So many of us make decisions about what other people think. That is us pushed out in a nutshell, for sure. Whenever you're deciding what others think without having any clue whatsoever what they actually think, when you're placing thoughts in their minds, you're creating a problem for yourself because you're making assumptions and you're using the law of assumption in a negative way to reinforce negative things, to reinforce more problems. With all the things going on with the corona and all that stuff, the same kind of concepts exist. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of time worried about, oh no, did I touch somebody? Was I in the proximity? They're always thinking about these concerns. And you've got to switch your focus. You've got to realize you're taking care of yourself. You've got to realize that you're doing all the proper things. You've used hand sanitizer, whatever your thing is. You're meditating. Your energy's good. You've got a strong immune system. There's a number of things to tell yourself that can help through these situations. It's when we entertain the opposite of it that we have problems. When we entertain the fact that we're not good enough. When we entertain that they may not like us because we're not good enough, we're not fast enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not smart enough, we're not funny enough. How many times do we have those little discussions inside our head? Turn those discussions around. If you don't believe in you, if you're not standing in front of your crew and saying, look, I'm all right, I'm good stuff. You guys would be wise to go with me. I got this. We got this covered. I know where we're going. Come with me. And get your crew on board. Make sure you are reminding yourself that you are good enough, you are pretty enough, you are smart enough, that you're the perfect age, that you've got the right amount of experience, that you're the perfect fit for the job. Catch yourself when you're having these discussions 90% of the time. I get a lot of people that hit me up and say, Dan, I'm doing everything right, but still nothing's happening. I assure you, this plays a part. And here's one of the things that's really interesting that a lot of people don't necessarily realize. Just because you maybe are trying to manifest a relationship with a specific person, you might have some thoughts about yourself, maybe in relation to your job or something else, that actually are negative and very well could be tainting your experience with your specific person. Maybe the job component is necessary to help with this relationship because part of what she's going to be attracted to or part of what he's going to be attracted to is what you've got going on over here. Maybe you've got your own thing going. Maybe you're secure. Maybe whatever. Maybe you're interested in something that's fascinating to them. But getting that side of your life dialed in can actually play a part. Life is a balance. Life is a bunch of ripples in a pond, and they all interact and interface with each other. It's not like I just work on this one thing and this one thing only and this one thing only and this one thing only and don't worry about any other aspects of my life. That doesn't generally work out well. In fact, most people that do that, they've got a very unnatural sort of experience because they've placed so much importance on this one thing when everybody's lives comprised of many things. Then you're kind of missing the point again and you're getting out of balance. A lot of the times there is a balance component. And I'm not saying you got to run around and be nice to everybody, though it's a good idea. But what I am saying is if you're having negative conversations going on inside your head at any part of the day, you are actually degrading your overall manifestation wheel. You're essentially putting the brakes on your overall manifesting wheel. I frequently liken it to the wheel of fortune, right? That big giant wheel when they pull it down, right? You try to spin it around once, you get close to $1 and blah, 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 right? I kind of liken it to that because once that wheel gets humming, right? And it just gets going. But what we do when we start having these negative thoughts or when we start having negative manifestations, because that's all it is, a negative thought's a negative manifestation. If I'm assuming the worst in someone, I'm doing a negative manifestation on them. If I'm assuming the worst about myself, I'm doing a negative manifestation on myself. If I'm assuming the worst about a situation, a company, people, political parties, whatever, if I'm assuming the worst, I am actually harming myself. Because again, this is my world that I've created. And if what I'm doing is looking at the creation and saying, ooh, you're gross, I want to change you, and refuse to change anything else that's going on, you're never going to make any difference. It's these negative things that we push out. It's the fact that we hold others in negative lights. Turn that around. See the best in others. Try your best. You will truly find that when we do this effort, you will notice that manifestation wheel stops getting slowed. Every time we have these negative manifestations, we're putting the brakes, we're grabbing hold of that wheel and trying to slow it down. Main reason that happens, by the way, is because you're doing negative manifestations. And our higher selves and God and everybody else understands that if we let that manifestation wheel just keep churning full bore and you start focusing on negative stuff, you're going to start manifesting negative stuff very, very quickly. It's part of how this is a playground for us, how we're learning how to control our thoughts, how to actually focus our attention properly. And when we can do that, we keep our manifestation wheel going. In fact, you're almost speeding it up, right? You're almost like a top and you're just like speeding it up every time. It's like that playground, right? That little merry-go-round that's dangerous, right? You get on that thing, it's great, but you try to hop on it when it's already moving. Oh, God help you. It's dangerous. Kids, I'm surprised more kids haven't been ruined with that little playground toy. Thing's a blast. We've got to make sure we keep ourselves focused. Got to make sure we're paying attention to the things that are happening inside of us, to where our attention goes. I kid you not, you will be surprised when you start paying attention how many places you let your thoughts scatter. When you do, change it. That's all you got to do. Reaffirm it, say it in a positive, revise it right then and there, say it a few more times, but always keep your conscious and your subconscious. Always keep the captain and the crew in line, in the same alignment, focused in the same direction. If you're trying to manifest things, keep the positive focus. If you've got people over here that upset you, revise that relationship so we've got a better situation going on. When you get rid of more of these little ripples that pop up in our lives, you've got fewer things slowing down that wheel. And when you've got fewer things slowing down the wheel, it actually starts to speed up. And that's what controls how quickly we manifest. This figurative wheel of manifestation. If we can get ourselves back on track, if we can catch ourselves when we stray, you can change your life literally overnight. Dan, RadioStyle.